What if I told you that you could hit the road without worrying about finding grocery stores, spending a fortune on restaurant meals, or eating nothing but canned beans? Today, I'm sharing the meal prep secrets that let me travel with homemade, delicious meals ready in minutes. Whether you're planning a 500-mile or a 5,000-mile road trip adventure, what I'm about to share could be the difference between stress eating gas station hot dogs and enjoying restaurant quality meals while watching the sunset from your campsite. In my opinion, meal prepping isn't just convenient for RV life, it's absolutely essential. Hey there, it's Nancy. And in this video, I'm going to share with you how I was able to meal prep at least 30 meals, all in my tiny RV kitchen. If you're just joining me for the first time, I've been living and traveling solo in my RV for the past 2 years, and I share the ups, the downs, and sometimes the weird and controversial about living and traveling full-time in an RV. If that sounds cool to you, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell so you don't miss any of my practical RV living tips. This year, instead of a longer trek to Maine or Minnesota or out west, I decided to explore closer to my Orlando home base, heading 7 hours south to the mysterious and beautiful Keys for 2 whole months. Now, even though it's closer to my home base of Orlando, the Keys might as well be on a different planet. Different culture, different people, different music floating through the air, and here's the kicker: different grocery store availability. If you've ever spent time trying to find things in an unfamiliar grocery store, you know exactly what I'm talking about. After spending the winter in Orlando, I was spoiled, always having a grocery store within 5 minutes of wherever I was camped. But my first Keys destination, it's possibly 30 minutes to the nearest store. Let me paint you a picture. Last summer, I was parked in a spot where the nearest Walmart was 200 miles away. 200 miles. That meant sometimes 2 to 4 weeks between grocery runs. Well, this year is different. Here's what I found that meal prepping really gives you, and this is the part most people miss. Number 1, freedom. While other RVers are driving 30 minutes each way to find overpriced groceries, you're exploring hidden beaches or chatting with locals over coffee. Number 2, health. No more surviving on canned soup and crackers because that's all that's in the tiny local store. Number 3, money. Restaurant meals add up fast when you're traveling. We're talking potentially hundreds of dollars saved per month. Number 4, peace of mind. You know you've got delicious homemade meals waiting no matter where the road takes you. But here's my secret advantage from a solo RVer. I've never been good at cooking for just one person. Back when my daughters were young and we lived close to family in New Jersey, I was always cooking for a crowd. Meal prepping gives me the perfect excuse to cook big again and then portion it out for weeks of easy meals. So today I'm taking you behind the scenes of my pre-Keys meal prep marathon. We're going to make enough food for 30 meals using ingredients that make the whole process surprisingly simple. All right, let's talk strategy. I'm not going to full scratch cooking like I used to do because, let's be honest, we want meal prep that's actually doable, not exhausting. Here's our lineup for today's prep session. First up is Italian meatballs and sausage. This is going to become pasta dinners, sub sandwiches, and even breakfast scrambles. 2, a massive batch of chili with meat and beans. Think chili dogs, chili mac, loaded baked potatoes, and of course, perfect bowls of comfort with cheese and corn muffins, which I've also made in advance. 3rd, a beautiful pork roast that's also going to transform into pulled pork sandwiches. But wait, there's more. I can still fit a few more items in my freezer and pantry to complement these meals, including something you probably never thought of before, and I'll share that with you in a minute. Ready to see how all this comes together? Let's get cooking. We're starting with the Italian meatballs and sausage. I'm using pre-made Italian meatballs and sweet Italian sausage. The sausage adds incredible flavor without any extra work. Pre-made meatballs from the store? Absolutely fine. This isn't about impressing Gordon Ramsay, it's about eating well on the road. Watch this technique. First, I brown everything, letting those flavors develop. The smell alone is going to make your neighbors jealous. Then I pop it all into my Instapot, add tomato paste, crushed tomatoes, garlic, onion powder, and oregano, and I let the Instapot work its magic, creating the most tender meatballs and sausage you've ever had. Here's a pro tip. I'm cooking this to about 85% done because it's going to finish cooking when I reheat it later. This prevents it from getting overcooked and dry during storage. Here's how I portion this out. Quart-sized freezer bags that stack perfectly in my RV freezer. Each bag becomes a different meal. One night it's spaghetti and meatballs. Another morning it's a breakfast scramble with peppers and eggs. I'm squeezing out all of the air but leaving a little space at the top because food expands when it freezes. Learned that the hard way when my bags started popping open in my freezer. Now let's talk about chili, the ultimate RV comfort food. This isn't just a meal, it's like having a hug waiting for you in your freezer. I'm using a lean ground beef, but you can use a mix of ground beef and ground turkey to keep it interesting and a little healthier. I'm using 2 different types of beans, red and black, because variety is the spice of life. And here's my secret ingredient to keeping it simple. A pack of taco seasoning mixed with chili powder. It adds this incredible depth of flavor that people always ask me about without having to spend a lot of time mixing up spices. The key is to letting this simmer low and slow in the Instapot, one of the kitchen appliances I can't live without. I'm making enough chili to fill 6 quart-sized freezer bags. That's 6 completely different meals right there. Picture this. Tonight it's classic chili with cornbread. Tomorrow it's chili mac and cheese. Day 3, it's loaded baked potato toppers. Day 4, chili dogs at a beautiful Gulfside campsite. Day 5, it's the base for a Mexican-inspired rice bowl. I always make my chili a little less salty than I want it because you can always add salt when you reheat, but you can't take it away. Trust me on this one. The third thing we're cooking today is a beautiful pork roast, pre-seasoned and ready to go, that I just pop in the freezer. When I'm ready for it, I can cook it directly from frozen in my Instapot, adding any fresh vegetables I can pick up along the way. And if I can't find fresh, I always carry a few cans of vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and peas, or some frozen veggies that I keep in the freezer. This pork roast is going to be your ticket to feeling like you're eating restaurant quality meals in the middle of nowhere. This is where it gets exciting. This one pork roast becomes pulled pork sandwiches with coleslaw, carnitas for tacos, and even an addition to ramen for a hearty upgrade. The beauty in all of these meals is in the flexibility of the many dishes you can make with them. Now let me share my secret weapons that turn good meal prep into great meal prep. And here's something that most RVers never think of. I can my own meat. Chicken, turkey, beef, all preserved in glass jars that store perfectly in my pantry without taking up precious freezer space. I know it sounds weird, but home canned chicken, turkey, and beef are absolute game changers. They store at room temperature, last for a long time, and the meat is already cooked and tender and a lot less salty and less expensive than what you'll find in stores. The meat cooks during the canning process, so add it straight to your recipes to create meals like fajitas or pepper steak. I just opened a jar of canned chicken and it goes straight into a stir fry, chicken salad, or quesadillas. No thawing, no cooking time, just open it up and use. In my freezer, I keep frozen raviolis, an instant gourmet dinner with just marinara sauce, and a salad. Ground meat portioned into meal-sized bags for tacos, burgers, or meat sauce. The key to RV meal prep success: organization. I label everything with contents and date. I keep an inventory list so that I know what I have without digging through the freezer. Square containers stock better than round ones, and flat freezer bags take up even less space than containers. And always leave room for expansion when freezing liquids. Here's what a typical week looks like with this meal prep strategy. Monday, spaghetti and meatballs while watching the sunset over the Gulf. Tuesday, chili mac and cheese after a day of snorkeling. Wednesday, pulled pork sandwiches for a beach picnic. Thursday, a quick chicken stir fry made with my canned chicken and fresh vegetables from my weekly grocery run. Friday, chili dogs while watching local musicians at a waterfront park. This system will let me go almost 6 weeks in the Keys with just weekly grocery runs for fresh produce, dairy, and bread. I will save hundreds of dollars on restaurant meals, eat healthier than I have in a long time, and have more time to explore because I wasn't constantly hunting for grocery stores. More importantly, I will have the freedom to truly immerse myself in the beauty and culture of the Keys. I can spend time with the locals who choose this paradise as home, and fellow travelers who, like me, choose to visit for weeks or months at a time. So here's my question for you. Do you meal prep before your RV adventures? I'd love to hear your strategies in the comments below. What's your go-to road trip meal that makes you feel at home anywhere? If this video helped you think differently about RV meal planning, smash that button and subscribe for more real-world RV living tips. I'm sharing everything I learn on the road, the wins, the failures, and the delicious meals in between. Whether you're traveling 500 miles or 5,000 miles, preparation isn't just part of the journey, it's part of the joy. Happy travels, and I'll see you on the road.